Well, that's wonderful. We're on the screen. Get us off, please. That's okay. I'll do it. Just click.
I didn't know it was do that.
I mean, no. Oh, that's you. I will just. We're coming, people. We're
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh, the movie White Chicks is based on a true story. We're looking wonderful.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, wow. Okay,
that's
good.
wonderful. Oh.
We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Watch
with your hosts, Rob and Melissa. Tonight's films are Carmen Jones and The Defiant Ones. Tonight's special guest star, Dennis Scott Torbett and Shayla Khanna.
Hello. Hi guys, how's it going? Happy to be here.
Not anymore that.
Hi everyone. I can't hear you.
Oh hey, what's up, Dennis?
Hey Shayla, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing fine, thanks.
Happy New Year. I haven't seen you in ages.
I know, it feels like forever.
I know. Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day?
Not really. I think a lot of the same. I normally would do something extravagant. Well, not really extravagant with my husband, but we've spent the last 10 months together every day.
Yeah.
So,
You get to celebrate love in quarantine.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about you?
Normally, I would go out to dinner with my parents because I'm single, which is really nice because then my parents get to pay for an expensive dinner. But this year, I'm just gonna hang out with them, and my mom will cook, and we'll probably watch a movie or something really low key. I'm also kind of skittish about indoor dining since COVID is still a thing and almost no one is vaccinated.
I know.
And that's kind of depressing, but
Echoing?
Oh, there you are, Melissa. Hi.
No echo.
No echo.
None.
No.
Well, because we're hearing ourselves. And
Oh, we're hearing ourselves. Well, that's distracting. What the fuck?
Well, okay.
That's whatever. Just and the camera's here. Oh, it looks so hideous.
No, you don't.
Okay,
No.
let's just
let's
just start over. Okay, this is wonderful.
Melissa, take a shot.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Oh, yeah.
Take a shot.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
There's been a little bit of sadness, but let me just crunch over the keyboard one more time, and I think I've got one last. I was like, this is the day that I'm not going to embarrass my effing self. Hi, Dennis. That's better. Wow.
Hi.
Wow. Okay. Well, oh, fuck. It's okay. You can still see it. Nope, it clogged. Don't worry, guys. Sorry, Dennis. We respect your time. obviously. And this is a good shot of me. And I'm just living my effing life. Wonderful. Well, this is as good as it's gonna get. And I'm gonna take this shot. And I'm not gonna listen to my echo. Oh, no, I'm
Oh.
still echoing. Okay, wonderful. Well, I got ready for
Let's
this.
just
Okay.
do this.
Hello, welcome to. Well,
All right. Shall we, let's start this over. Dennis, see anything good lately?
I have, when I'm able to pull myself away from TikTok, which has been my sort of quarantine excitement. We just watched The Great, which is that series on Hulu that came out back in May about the rise of Catherine the Great in Russia, starring Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult, and it's great. It's really fun. It's it's by the director and writer who did The Favorite, so very sort of time bendy. So while it's set in the 1700s, it's very modern in its language and for storytelling. So it's fun. It was really great fun. And the season 1, I was just announced that season 2 is coming back. So looking forward to seeing the story continue.
I can't hear anything.
You're
she said.
muted.
Um, Dennis, who did you say the director was for that show? That show?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure who the.
Say that again.
Say that again.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Echoing?
Yeah.
well,
Well, we'll get this situated.
what about this one? Echo now? Echo.
Am I echoing? Am I echoing?
You're not echoing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine. We'll just do it the shit way. Echo,
On a scale from 1 to 10, how bad is the echo?
that's pretty bad. I'm not doing an echo.
Okay, we're not going to do an echo. Keep talking, and we'll be right back.
Okay. Okay.
Am I echoing? Am I echoing?
Yes.
Yes.
And so am I. And so am I.
I was trying to look up who wrote Favorite. His name. His name's Tony McNamara.
I liked The Favorite.
I liked The Favorite. That was a good movie.
Yeah. It was so.
The first time I saw it,
I didn't care.
And then I watched it again, and I was like, "Oh no, wait! I think I was just not giving it a fair chance."
Hello.
Because... Oh, hello.
Mic is muted. Oh, that mic is muted.
Oh, is
This
there
is
an
better.
echo?
We're good, I think.
Wonderful.
Oh, cool.
Well, that's great. This
Great.
is wonderful. I had a wonderful day. This was great.
Yeah.
This was going to
It's-
be the day we had our shoot together.
It's only
Shayla, did you
7:32,
talk
so-
about your movie?
Sure.
What you saw?
I've seen a few things, but I think the favorite thing I've seen was called The White Tiger. It's on Netflix. It's a 2021 film starring.
Well, that's not it.
That's not it.
That's
but
okay.
it
Nice
was
picture.
That's
produced
fine.
by.
It's a good one.
It was produced by Priyanka Chopra Jonas and Ava DuVernay, and it takes place in New Delhi. It's about a young man who comes from a very poor, very small village. He winds up becoming the driver for this very, very wealthy family, and it's about his rise to his own way of making his own fortune through the ranks of being a servant, where he was treated like absolutely nothing. His relationship with his employers and how they manipulated him and how he manipulated them back. It's a really exciting story and a really important story because it tells the tale of a lot of people's lives in India that aren't highlighted or that are very romanticized in Bollywood movies. So it's really good. It's very exciting, touching, very emotional on Netflix. I highly recommend it.
Oh,
Shayla, you sound. Oh, this echo is sad, but that's fine.
it's not her, it's us.
We'll just mute it when we're talking, and then I'll just pull it right back up. Why the fuck not? You sound like you're startled, as if the start that you had got off to a little rough start.
The start?
Like today. Yeah, the
Oh.
start of this show.
I mean, this whole day has been a day. Like, I woke up and it was just like, bam, life. So, you know, I feel like that kind of
Mine was
me
like
through.
a slow crumble. Slow
I had a
crumble of
weird
life.
dream about a friend, and then I was like late to stuff, and it was a rough day. February is never my month, so I just chalk it up to that.
Yeah, let's just chalk it up to February.
Yeah.
Dennis, did we talk to Dennis?
He talked about the show. With the one
The
with
Great.
Oh, that's
Elle Fanning.
right.
It sounded good. I forgot the name. I'm sorry.
The Great.
There you go. The Great.
There it is.
Okay. We will. I guess we'll see you for the first review, which will happen shortly. But first, let me just check the producer to see if this clip is ready. Is the clip ready?
Wait, no.
No.
Wait, I
Oh,
gotta. I
oh.
can't even hear anybody right now. I gotta fix it.
Okay.
Yeah, don't you
so,
worry.
Shayla, you said you saw a few things. Talk about those. And,
I'm
we're just
so-
gonna-
Another movie I saw that I've seen before and used to love when I was growing up was Robin Hood Men in Tights, the 1993 film from Mel Brooks.
So good.
It's so good. And I rewatched it, and it was like a very nostalgic experience, and it holds up. It's still hilarious. Young Dave Chappelle, Amy Yazbek, Tracy Ullman, I believe, is in it as well. It's such a good movie. Like, it's a classic, and you can't go wrong with Mel Brooks. Like, you can watch him in any mood, at any time of year, no matter what's happening, and it's always going to be a good time. So that was fun.
Now, Dennis, is that a little like choppy for you?
No.
Was that fine? Oh, wonderful. It's
Yeah.
just choppy for
Everything
us.
was
That's fine. We can deal
clear.
with that. That's great. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Well, this is Robin Hood.
Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
There you go.
That's what Shayla was just talking
Oh!
about.
Yeah.
If you were listening like
I
I
wasn't.
was.
I'm like so.
Actually,
close
I'm
to
just
this.
assuming that's what you were talking about, Shayla.
It was. It was.
Oh boy.
But
no.
okay, good. Has anyone seen the Netflix docu-series about the Cecil Hotel? I didn't
Not
even
yet.
know there was a docu-series about the Cecil Hotel on Netflix. So surprising.
started it.
Surprise.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised. I'm surprised. Well, Gabby, up until 7:05, I was making great moves on my promise to make sure that we gave you a really fancy thing. Will it happen? No. Will we
it won't.
try? Well, it will sort of, but
Okay.
badly.
But we're gonna
But it's
redo
gonna-
it.
yeah,
but we're
we'll
gonna
redo it for
air
you.
it what we have. Oh.
Oh, great. Started it last night. This is wonderful that she saw us in all our starting glory. This is actually what every show is. But hello, Gabriella Parker. I will check that series out.
Yes,
Because I love
as
that
will
type of
I.
stuff. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Dennis, how do you do it? You seem a little lonely without your missing partner in crime.
No, not lonely at all. Like I was telling, and I don't mean to say that so fast, but we've spent 10 months together almost nonstop, and it's nice to have a pause, to like experience missing somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure we all. Can you pause life? Can you pause?
I will.
Is that with Dennis being alone?
I
a little
assume
rude.
that's what she put it up. Maybe she's. I don't know. Maybe that's about the docu-series.
Yeah,
It could
I
be
don't
about
know.
anything.
Yeah, actually, I can.
Maybe this episode of What to Watch she's talking about. Perhaps.
All right, well, we're
Uh,
ready to get started. for
Okay,
real.
so yes, okay. Life cannot pause. That is
No.
true. And so the same thing goes when you're going live.
Life does not pause.
So
That's what the fact says.
We will see Dennis and Shayla
Okay.
again shortly.
If,
Correct.
I hope to God we will.
It might be quicker than you think. We will find out shortly.
We will find out shortly.
But
So
we
let's
will
go
see
to our
you
first show.
soon. So,
Watch our show, guys. Smash that like button.
Yeah.
We obviously can.
So yes, our top fan of the month, I think.
Oh,
of
are we doing
January,
that? Yeah, I
possibly.
can make that happen. Hold on, I just gotta
Okay.
bend down awkward.
Yes.
Yeah, just you talk. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll see you later.
Our top fan of the month of January, Gabby,
Yeah.
is a big fan of romantic
Yeah.
comedies. So since this is the Thursday before Valentine's Day, she was going to give us her top romantic comedy picks.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
imagine
Don't worry.
that's what they
Well,
are.
yeah, that's what it is.
Well, no, they're not all comedies. Actually, now that I think
Oh.
of it, or just romantic movies from the 90s.
Yeah.
We were I clearly came prepared, as you can tell, and we will see
One
what
of
the
those.
first two recommendations
Okay.
are. Maybe.
Okay. Dennis is like,
Um,
I could have had plans with anything, and then Shayla's like, why did I come here to see these recommendations?
Yes, that's why.
Okay, so I'm just gonna click. Like, this is just the old days. We're just giving you
Oh.
a look at the
like
old
when we
days.
first started. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna do this, and then just don't look at my butt because it's hanging out.
If I do, I'll lose
Yeah,
the
just be-
earphone. So, and that will be.
And here's
disaster.
Gabby's clip of the thing.
So this
Number
is
one.
top fan of the month.
Oh yes, top fan. This is how good we did your
She
clip,
won for doing the Anne Hathaway impersonation,
which was
if you
very
don't
good.
remember.
It was not as good as
Uh,
what we're gonna show.
better than
you.
Anne Hathaway.
And here we go. Yeah, I'm
yes.
ready. Here's that, and then we'll
Okay.
we shared everybody, and then we'll just do this.
Good evening, friends. It is February and romance is in the air, as is Gabby's top 5 list of 90s movies about love. Number 5 is Superstar. Mary Catherine Gallagher is played by Molly Shannon. Her initial love interest is played by Will Ferrell, and she's a young teenage girl coming of her own, learning how to river dance, which she was always supposed to be a river dancer. She does have a romance with a tree in the movie, but that is brief. There's an adorable breakup scene at the end. But at the very end of the movie, she falls in love with Slater, a fellow teen outcast, and they're happy as can be. This one has a happy ending for sure.
Well, there's number one. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh. Fuck me.
So,
Yeah,
Oh.
that was good.
that was Superstar. Yes.
Superstar.
That was
That was wonderful.
that was her number
That was
5
one.
pick. Well, 5. She's
Yeah.
top 5. usually do.
Oh,
So she's
that was
doing
5.
her.
And she says, "That's for sure."
Yes.
I'm so sick.
Maybe we'll look at the other. We don't have
Yeah.
the other one ready.
Yeah,
just to
well,
see-
oh yeah, no, we can do that right now. That's
okay.
just
So this is
2
another
shakes
one
of a
the-
lamb's tail. This is the 4th one. And we're just editing that in time because that's what we do. And then yeah, why not? Here's 4.
96 is Romeo and Juliet, Baz Luhrmann's adaptation of the classic tale. This is set in Verona Beach, California. Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio star. This movie has a fantastic soundtrack with 90s favorites like Garbage, Everclear, Butthole Surfers, and Radiohead. Be sure to check this one out.
Well, that was great.
That was great,
That
yes.
was wonderful. So there's
she'll have-
2.
Still have more recommendations throughout the episode.
This
so
show is
don't
everything
go
I
anywhere.
thought it would
Um,
be.
Also, don't go
It is-
anywhere
yeah.
just in case we get bumped. You can't get back on.
It's fun. Yeah, if
Um,
you're
I think it's going how we kind of planned it to
Yeah.
go. I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think? I mean, this is one of
what
our
would
better
be
episodes, if you ask me.
what would be the point if things ran right? Like
Right?
I would be
this wouldn't be what
calm.
to watch.
I would be a happy person,
Yeah.
and there's no joy in that. Nobody wants to watch happy people. They just want to watch misery.
They want to feel better about
Yeah.
themselves, so they watch us. That's a fun.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, so February is Black History Month, so we do want to recognize contributions made by African Americans within the film community. And yes, John Legend did win the Academy Award for original song. I forget the name of the song, but it was from the film Selma that came out in 2017.
Ooh. Oh yes, I love that one. I love that song.
Yes, but he is an EGOT, which that is somebody who's won an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. As you could see, our little fun fact finder posted for us.
And that's what we strive to be. We all, yes, Glory.
The name of the song was called Glory. Thank you for checking.
Thank you,
that,
Shayla.
we are clearly
We're
prepared.
not really here.
But tonight will be Life Cannot Be Paused. That is true.
No.
So tonight we'll be taking a look at the contributions made by the movie stars Dorothy Dandridge and Sidney Poitier with their two films, which they were the first African-American actors to be recognized by the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Science for their lead performances. For Dorothy Dandridge, it was Carmen Jones, which is our first movie this evening.
Yes, I hope we can see that. So we'll just pull up that it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's fine. This is the day. And Life Cannot Be Paused. Rob, we were speaking, didn't we say?
Hello. Oh, okay. So
wait.
Let me.
So stop it.
So stop very shortly. Okay.
Because we're a little,
That caught us by surprise.
We
were expecting that. But let me just say a few little things, and then you could start.
Well, I said to
Okay.
bring it up, so that was a me thing.
Oh,
I said,
okay.
bring it up.
Janet, that was
us.
Melissa's
That
fault.
was my fault.
Not
Don't
your
push
fault.
the button.
Yes. So first out is the 1954 film musical Carmen Jones, which is based on the 1943 stage musical of the same name, where Oscar Hammerstein II's lyrics are set to the music of Georges Bizet. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Shayla will correct me, I'm for sure if I didn't. His 1875 opera Carmen. So we could start rolling the clip and I'll start talking a little bit more
just
about
don't show it too long.
So yes,
It's starting.
Okay, it's starting.
This
That's
is
the poster.
Carmen Jones.
It was filmed in CinemaScope.
Ooh.
Yes.
And it's just a wonderful.
Oh, okay. So in the movie,
Ooh.
Dorothy Dandridge plays the title character.
Love's a baby that grows up wild, and he don't do what you want him to. Love ain't nobody's angel child, and he won't pay any mind to you. One man gives me his diamond stud, and I won't give him a cigarette. One man treats me like I was mud, and all I got that man can get. That's love. That's love. That's love. You go for me, and I'm taboo. True. I told you truly, if I love you, that's the end of you.
He muted us. No, we're good.
Okay.
So just
So I'm
start.
just going to repeat maybe you heard me, maybe you didn't.
Maybe.
I don't know. But in that first clip, yes, we saw Dorothy Dandridge playing the title character, a shameless vixen who works at a parachute factory during World War II. In that clip, we saw her trying to seduce the handsome Corporal Joe, played by Harry Belafonte, while he was being visited by his fiancée. Cindy
I don't know
Lou.
if we saw that or not. So
I don't know. I think they
know
saw
what
it. We might not have seen it,
put that on.
but
That's
maybe.
great.
Where's my drink? Did
Your
I drop
drink is
it?
there.
Oh. Yeah, just play the clip. Mike is muted. Nope.
No,
that's
okay, we're
fine.
not gonna watch it.
Just play.
Okay,
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, so then this
Just play it.
okay. Should we? Okay.
Heck, you know what? Let's start over. Start the clip over.
Well,
We're starting over.
Try
rewinding.
Well, I think that one of the clips got lost, so he was on.
Oh, that's
the
wonderful.
Film,
Okay, so
from,
Great. Yeah.
Well, we could just describe what
Okay,
happened in that clip,
describe.
and then we'll play the next clip after that.
Okay.
So at one point, Carmen is arrested for fighting with a coworker. You know, she told the foreman that she was late for work again, and like Carmen just she said something to the effect like, "I'm going to scratch the one good eye that you have
And
left,"
you
or
do.
something.
Yeah.
Which I know you.
That's how I lived my life. That's the only
But
reason
anyway,
I
so
made
she
it
gets
this far.
arrested for that, and the Corporal Joe, the Harry Belafonte character, is assigned to deliver her to the civilian authorities that are 50 miles away. And we could start playing that next clip, and I'll just discuss that.
Yeah, discuss this clip. This is Carmen Jones. And we're doing a welcome to
it's coming.
What
It's
to
coming.
Watch.
Just give it a second.
Okay, I will. But I just want to add what we sort of have.
we
Look,
sort
of have. Look, we Oh, that's Whatever we
say
said
anything.
beforehand is what's happening now. Oh, wait, no, it's she's getting taken to the civilian.
Yeah, that's what I just said before.
Oh.
So they Janet found the clip.
That's wonderful. This is a very forward woman. I'm sure she gets
belong.
what she wants. She is fantastic.
Just what I'm doing.
Just what I'm doing.
And
And
might
we'll
have been in
just
reference to the actress, not the character.
right. I have things to say about the characters. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
Sugar, you ain't gonna take me to the cooler, are you?
Are we
Good
echoing?
ones in jail.
Yeah.
What do you say we drive to a little place I know on the edge of town? I show you more fun you ever had.
We're going to jail.
I want to have some fun.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh,
well, I mean,
yeah,
I'll just
here
wait.
you
No,
go.
let's just wait. They're gonna
Okay.
get the clip loaded.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I'm just gonna pull down my shirt so that I don't. You know, this is a great outfit to wear. This
it is. It was
Yeah.
very.
very stylish and chic. It's like
Well, I was gonna say not. It was just looks like you're comfortable in it.
We're going to jail.
It's not necessarily chic, but you know what?
yeah.
What is chic
do you
anyway?
know?
I
What is
mean,
sh- oh,
however,
Don't
after
touch
the
this.
army jeep gets stuck in a river, Carmen suggests that they go to her hometown, which is nearby, and spend the night at her grandma's house, where Joe succumbs to the advances of
Sex.
Carmen. Oh, that's us.
Advances.
Okay. Oh, okay. There we go.
Advances. Like,
She's just helping him with his belt. That's all.
yeah, just
Nothing-
helping. Hi,
Nothing. Oh,
That's how I pulled up my pants. Oh,
oh.
you know what? In 2020, I never threw food away. So, like, that's
Oh,
just
okay. So they eventually also end up at the local nightclub where we're introduced to some of the other characters, like Frankie, played by who is Carmen's best friend, played by Pearl Bailey, as we'll see in this next clip
Yes.
coming up.
Oh,
Oh, yes,
there.
this was my favorite in the movie.
It was actually one of mine too.
On the music, that bumping on the music is all I need to start me off.
And looks like we haven't gotten kicked off yet. That's a good sign.
Oh,
Oh, maybe. Did I speak?
I did not get notification. I didn't know you were on. Don't worry. We're
We
just
literally just started.
Beat out that rhythm on the drum. Beat out that rhythm on the drum. And I don't need no tune
This is
at
the
all.
first work. That's a fun fact.
That did look like a twerk. Yes. That's a shimmy.
And that's me banging on the table with the keyboard.
Oh yes, as well as Husky Miller, the heavyweight boxing champion, who is in constant pursuit of Carmen. We'll see his little scene.
Yeah, we'll see his little ditty and just 2 shakes of it. Oh, there it is.
One by one they come and one by one to dreamland they go. How's it done? You ask
Now,
me
we
how's
may
it
add
done?
that
I got a train
some of
of
this music might be removed because they thought
Yes,
we sang
we
it.
did not write this music.
We did not sing this music.
Or yes, so or own the
We're
rights.
acting this.
We don't own the
Yeah.
rights for the music.
Nothing.
I don't know if we made that clear.
that clear.
We did say who the composer and lyricist was. I hope that's more than enough to satisfy the powers that be and Facebook. But we'll find out if we don't get kicked off after these
We'll find out. And then if we don't, we'll post this in 6 months. We've got more episodes to edit.
Yeah.
That final bell, stand up and fight like hell.
Oh.
When you fight out in the open air, in a patch
She's
of
the one.
Mm.
She's the only one.
Yes. Oh, and I think we're going to our last clip.
Okay.
So, as the story continues, Carmen fears that her impending death may be near after she has her fortune told with a deck of cards.
I wonder what my cards would say.
Do you really?
No, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what my cards say. Don't tell me my cards. Oh my God! And I believe that was the 9 of
The 9 of spades.
9, of which is obviously the death card. Duh.
Death got his hand on me.
It just felt a little melodramatic. I got my palm read once. It wasn't great, but
Yeah, I had my fortune told with tarot cards one time.
these
It
aren't even
wasn't
tarot.
great
These
either.
are just a deck of cards.
Yeah, I've never seen fortune told with deck of playing
think you
cards, but I don't know.
Well, they did.
Well, we gotta look
anything
that.
is
Maybe we'll
possible.
figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll Google that, and
Yeah, we'll
maybe
just-
we'll do a live card reading.
Yeah, we can't do a full show, but we'll just add more shit. to
Yeah,
what we're doing.
so why not? I had notes, but I don't know.
Yeah,
what I
no,
do.
don't take your
Like,
time. Take your time and do
Well,
notes.
I didn't even write down everything.
Oh, that's
So I'm
okay.
gonna try to do a bad memory. I might forget a bunch of things. This might be quick.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Oh.
I have no idea what I'm watching, but it looks interesting. This is Carmen Jones, Shecky. This is the 1954 musical Carmen
film.
Jones.
Starring Dorothy Dandridge.
There's no room on the table, so we're just gonna do this.
No, but I think this, to me, just the way it's filmed is like a perfect example of a film musical. I complain a lot about I hate modern film musicals, and I think this is exactly, this is a perfect example of one that's well made. As you saw, I love the one musical number with Pearl Bailey. It's even the way the shot is filmed, it's so layered. She's on one corner of the screen banging the drums. You see another layer where it's the bartender, and I love how the extra playing the bartender is just playing a bartender. He's still just making the drinks, not acting like nothing out of the ordinary is going on. And then you have the dancers, and behind that you just have the people sitting around, and it's just and it focuses on that for about a minute or two almost. And I'm just that's so great how I love how, musicals shot like that. I think that's the way musicals should be shot, not like a music video. But anyway, so yeah. You know, I know you said it's a little melodramatic. I agree, but I think that's the point. I feel it's because it's based off of the opera, which that is melodramatic as well. But you know, just so yeah, just to discuss, you know, Dorothy Dandridge's.
Do we have any pictures of Carmen?
Part in this movie. She was not casted actually to play Carmen. She was originally casted to play Cindy Lou. In the movie, the fiance, you know.
Well, that's a very small part.
It is. They originally they wanted her for that part. The year before, she did a film called Bright Road, where she played this quiet, meek school teacher, and they're like, "Oh, she plays quiet and meek well. Like, well, here's another character that's quiet and meek. Let's just have her play that." And she really didn't want to play that part. She really wanted to play Carmen. However, you know, she wasn't really her career in film. She didn't really have a big career in film. She was mostly known as a live performer, you know, a nightclub singer, cabaret singer. Everybody knew her as Dorothy Dandridge, the performer and singer, not Dorothy Dandridge, the actress, movie star. So I guess they were skeptical about giving her the main role, but how she did it was she dressed up, had somebody do her makeup as the character. When she showed up to a meeting at the producer's head, she came in as the character.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, no, she can play this part. And this was her big breakout role. So yeah, that I think is a really interesting story. There's actually a movie called The Dorothy Dandridge Story with Halle Berry plays her. That's a really good movie. So I suggest checking that out as well. But yeah, I thought she was great. However, she did not do her own singing in this movie. It was all the actors, their vocals were dubbed. Because except for Pearl Bailey, she was the only one who.
And which one was Pearl Bailey?
She was Frankie.
She was the Frankie. Okay.
Frankie. Yeah. However, you know, you could hear. You know, Dorothy Dandridge didn't do a lot of studio recordings. There was a studio. She did record an album that was never released. They released it about 20 years ago. You can find it on Spotify. It's called Smooth Operator. She's actually a really good singer, but she's more of a jazz, blues type singer, which this music obviously requires somebody with operatic type of voice, which, you know, a lot of them didn't have. Harry Belafonte as well. We all know he's a great singer as well. But his voice was dubbed. But however, like if that were to happen today, like maybe I would be like, come on, like you can't hire someone who, you know, you're gonna hire a singer, but then dub their vocals. But at the same time, like, I mean,
well,
everybody
Disney
knew
movies do that though.
What's
Disney
that?
movies always have a voice actress and
and here's the thing, like in the way, like, I guess it did benefit the film because you did need that operatic voice.
Yeah.
But Dorothy Dandridge didn't need to prove anything that she was a singer. She wanted to prove that she had the ability to be an actress and a movie star. And I think that was the main thing with this movie. It's like, well, they know I can sing, so it's like if I'm not doing my own vocals. I mean, that's what I think. I don't know if that's what she really felt or not. But like, in my opinion,
you have to do that to pull something like that to come in and I know I can do this.
So, you know, and I think she proved it. You know, her film career, unfortunately, didn't really take off. She wanted to try to stay away from stereotypical Black female roles as well. And then she got in a relationship with the director of Carmen Jones, Otto Preminger. And he told her, like, you shouldn't take any small roles, only leading roles. And of course, in the 1950s, I mean, comedy leading roles, non-stereotypical Black female leading roles were there. I mean, not a whole lot. So she did make a few other films after this. I think one of the more popular ones was the film version of Porgy and Bess. But then that movie, I actually, you know, that movie's out of print. There's no way to really see it. I think you can get it online illegally.
Oh, illegally?
Maybe. I'm not going to say I saw it. But it is kind of like a mess. Like the whole backstory to that movie was like the set burnt down. They had to spend more money. They needed to get it done by a certain time. And I think, And so that's
Yeah,
that.
and that's that.
But I think, you know what, this is a great movie. And I think, you know, a lot of African-American actresses, you know, really talk about how Dorothy Dandridge inspired them, including Halle Berry, Jada Pinkett Smith, and also too, you didn't see a clip of it, but Diane Carroll was in this movie as well. She had a small part.
Ooh, who
and
is
her,
she?
Oh, Diane Carroll, the actress from Dynasty. She was in the films Claudine.
Oh boy.
No, she's a big.
I
she was
asked just as a conversation.
She was a big,
I have no
Broadway
idea.
star as well. I know she was in the, I believe, the musical on.
What part was she in the movie?
There she is in the white dress.
Oh, I liked her.
Yes.
She was one of the friends.
I forget her character's name, but this was her film debut. She was 19 when she. So she was very young. And you know, we all know that she's a great singer. Her voice was dubbed as well.
Really? Whose
yeah.
voice wasn't dubbed?
Pearl Bailey, the only one that wasn't dubbed.
Wow.
You know, she also talked about how Dorothy Dandridge was an inspiration to her as well. She unfortunately passed. Diane Carroll passed away in 2019. But I mean, I guess that's. You know, I didn't have time to write down all my thoughts, and they're kind of lost.
There was a lot of screaming and crying.
But you go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead.
So I don't have anything right now. I don't have notes. I might have notes, but there's just not. Whatever. So the only backstory I have to set up this movie is that I had this. My grandfather. He always, when we would come over, he'd always say, I'm going to teach you history. I'm going to teach you history. And we would learn a lot about Czech history. And we would learn a lot about different operas and like a lot of art. He and my sister and I, he would always kind of give us these little mini teaching things. And he would always kind of show us the Carmen musical. I remember that. And he made us listen to it in its entirety. And he was explaining it. And those were my memories as a child. And then to watch this movie, and I mean, I knew it was an adaptation, but I didn't know it was going to be taking all of the same. I don't know. I didn't know what to expect, you know? And then I was hearing all of these musical numbers that I recognized as a child, but the lyrics were completely different. They were incredibly modern because not only are they singing lyrics, but I would catch it. I caught it early on. They would sing perfect sentences, everything like that. And then they would slip in, I don't know. I want to be careful with this, but they would be like, oh, the trees, or they would put little of that cultural reference to it. But at the same time, it was so modern that I felt that it was that time period's Moulin Rouge. Does that make sense? The first time I saw Moulin Rouge, I hated it. But it's because they take something that's sort of classical and they blend a lot of modern things to it. And that's what I felt about this. It felt very modern. The dancing at times were modern. Oh, what colloquialism.
Oh.
I can pronounce that.
Wow.
Colloquialism. I enjoyed that. I liked the style of that because I could tell, even obviously it's old for us, and I'm not going to lie, I think everybody, especially our age, sees a movie before the 2000s, and we're like, what? I don't know. I do. Probably not you because you're classy. Oh. But I'm like, what do you mean black and white? What is I don't have imagination for color. So I was riveted this entire time. Everybody was incredible. I mean, do you know anything about the budget? The budget seemed insanely high.
Probably, but it made a lot of money. It was a big
beautiful.
Hit. It was
And it's something where I didn't expect to be so entertained, not only entertained but engrossed. It was incredibly beautiful. The only thing I will have to say, and this is only as a person thing. Nobody. Oh, that's okay. Colloquialism. That was how I would sound it out. So it's not wrong. Don't worry. But nobody in this movie is a good person except for little Cindy Lou. Everybody's a total asshole. I hate it. Nobody has any redeeming qualities. And it's just one of those things where things happen in my life where I'm like, could this have been avoidable? Yes. I mean, like this show, could it have been avoidable? I don't know. I mean, this is just what we do normally, so maybe it's fate, but maybe it's that we had a curse following us of something, the curse of the echo. I was going somewhere. What did I say?
You were talking about no redeeming qualities.
Oh yeah, nobody had any redeeming qualities. And it was just one of those things where it was like, come on, do you really like think about it for a minute? And Carmen, she's stunning, she's beautiful, she's very seductive, but she's not really thinking things through. I mean, you have somebody you're involved with who has, you know, all you know, different responsibilities, and these are legal responsibilities, and then she kind of gives them the runaround of like, just leave, it's fine, don't worry about it, rub my feet, everything will be beautiful. And I know that she's a woman on guard. I know that she probably must have been hurt. She's a strong woman, she's a proud woman, and she has that whole opening number is her saying, if a guy is into me, I'm so not into him. But if he's kind of aloof, then that's the guy I want. She wants what she can't have. And then she got what she couldn't have. And then it just kind of downside. Everybody's choices were terrible. And it actually made me feel better because while I continue to make a number of bad choices in this time, I have not made anything that would put me in mortal peril. I don't think so yet.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. But there, I mean, these
But who knows?
choices
We'll do
could
your
have
cards
been
and we'll
avoidable.
find out.
Yeah, we'll do my tarot cards and we'll see that I'll die tomorrow, and then I'll just kind of just whatever. It's
Get wait, because that's what she does when she gets the spade of nine. She just starts
Exactly.
drinking like
Oh,
champagne.
that's
like,
it.
She's like, fuck it, I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna get wasted.
I got a Panda Express fortune cookie that said "screw you," and I said, "Well, that's it," and that's why this show destructed. Let's bring on. We haven't seen. That's all you have to say.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we haven't seen Dennis for a long time, and this poor gentleman just watched us do our tech thing for 30 minutes, so we're ready to see him now. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, friends. How are you?
God, I can hear. There's no.
Yeah, it's so
Don't
clear.
you worry, Dennis. We're ready for you. An hour after you logged in, we're ready to speak with you.
No, it's great.
Hello. Also, Dennis had to say, I said, Dennis, please be on the show. You know, obviously Michael has, you know, he's doing stuff. He's singing probably Carmen's song somewhere else. I'm just kidding. But Dennis had to say, hi, what are the movies? And I said, oh! So
Yeah.
hopefully
Oh,
Dennis
like
watched the
4 hours ago.
Yeah, like
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and they're both 2 hours, so he just crammed. There's
Yeah.
a whole hour he could have been watching something. Like, budget your time.
No,
Dennis.
fortunately, I know Melissa, and I asked on Monday to have adequate time to review the film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I overall enjoyed Carmen Jones. You know, I think.
Have you seen it before?
I haven't, which is surprising in a household with my husband, who is obsessed with every musical theater piece. So it was nice to experience that with him together. But you know, I think with the sort of musical and the sort of amazing acting of it, I still felt sort of, I guess, from a sort of critical lens about the experience of watching the film. What do you do?
Oh, we're just crashing a keyboard. But we're good. They're better now.
Is it not echoing? No, it's still echoing.
What the fuck? Yeah, no, we're fine. Can you
sure?
hear us?
Yeah, okay, that's better.
Oh, wonderful. Well, something happened. We're fine.
Yeah, no, we're better.
Honestly, at this point, I would have been like, I would have just jumped out this window.
No.
Okay.
My voice was echoing back to me.
I
Like,
don't know why.
that's fine.
Echoing. How long was this echoing?
It was
Hopefully
a few seconds.
Wonderful. Well, everybody
Oh,
loves
okay,
to call
good.
out
It
our
lasted
echo.
only for a second.
We do have your husband, so you know, watching from the train now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Hi,
He's-
Michael. It's cutting in.
On his way.
All of the technical problems are not us. It's your train Wi-Fi. And then no echo now. Thank God. And
Exactly.
hilarious. My life or our show.
Maybe both.
work.
Um,
So Dennis,
yeah.
where we can hear you.
No, it's
Okay,
fine,
so
yeah. So
before
the
I
only-
interrupted you with the keyboard, you said you were disconnected somehow.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think approaching the film with sort of the 2021 lens and looking at kind of where we are at sort of culturally, you know, I think for 1954, when this film was released, amazing that a film from a major studio, you know, featured an entirely Black cast. But at the same time, it felt almost sort of devoid of Blackness, if that makes sense. Like in terms of like being set against the Carmen music, it didn't feel like sort of.
Well, that's why they did those lyrics, though. The lyrics had bits of that history in them, which makes
No.
it modern. I felt because it did. I feel the same way you did. It felt very odd, but it was the same feelings I had about Moulin Rouge. You're watching it, and nothing really fit. Colloquialism. I gotta look that up. I just use it now to sound smart, but it's colloquial. Carry on, Dennis.
No, but I think, you know, even with the lyrics, it just didn't feel. In some ways, it felt like the creative team was plugging Black artists and Black stories into sort of a white framework, which in some cases lost those pieces, even if there were sort of lyrics that called back to it. And then I think the other piece too, and I'll wrap up because I know I've been talking for a long time, is
No, we interrupted you a lot.
is this sort of, you know, context of 1954 and it being a film with sort of an entire Black cast, including all Black background actors. It made it sort of feel much more prominently segregationist in a lot of ways, you know, in terms of like where this film sort of sits in that. So I think overall, like, awesome movie, but it still felt sort of very connected to this sort of white power structure, which it would, right? I mean, it's
Well, another thing I was
1950s
noticing,
studio.
their waists were so itty bitty. Those were
Mhm.
not real waists. Oh, hello. Fuck it. Hello, we're here.
Yeah,
But their waists were so tiny in a way that it was very like Gone with the Wind. Like none of that was real. Nobody had that tiny of a waist. And if they did,
Movies from that time, like I feel like
there was
though,
corsets.
you always, yeah, probably.
But I
feel
think in the
they
same
always
way
have
Dennis
those
said,
waists.
was that I felt like that was I thought corsets were a very, I don't know. I don't want to say anything terrible. 'Cause
No,
don't
I
know.
mean, I think it was primarily like white culture to
That's
wear
what I was
corsets
thinking.
in a
Well,
way.
they
Yeah,
wanted to do that. They were smarter
For
than
sure.
that.
But to Dennis's point, I think it's good to point that out, though, too, just because, yeah, in that 1954, because segregation in the South didn't end until 1964, and this movie does take place in the South, that most likely segregation was happening. So I think it's good to point that out as well.
Right.
It would have been nice if Hollywood was a little ahead
Well,
of
this
its
is
time.
very
then,
interesting,
and
though, because
to-
Michael, thanks for supporting us, Michael. We're glad you missed the first 45 minutes.
yes,
Carmen's singing voice was a white lady.
correct.
Oh, you said that?
Well, I didn't say. I said her voice was dubbed, but yes, it was.
That's
yeah.
interesting to me. Love the sweater. And Oscar Hammerstein, who wrote the new lyrics, was white. Well, you said that.
Like, all the filmmakers
Yeah.
that time in Hollywood were all white men. So,
Huh.
you know, you could
So then
expect
that
any
choice,
movie.
though, to
like-
put the like the trees.
Mhm.
I don't feel like a white person should have done that. Like, if you're going to do that as a statement of let's put in your own history,
Mhm.
then let's do that. But like, let's not like have a white person say, okay, speak fine, except for, the trees and I's a woman or something. I don't know.
we'll get the waistline was back in the day, so it was a weird disconnect. That is true. If you have a lot of white people putting in,
If you have white people making telling
and which is Dennis
stories
said
about
that from
African,
yeah. And the lyrics were driving me crazy because at first I thought they were black written lyrics, and I said, "Wow, that's I don't know." And then interesting point about all the black cast highlighting segregation. Dennis actually tries to sound cool in this show, and I just drink and panic.
I don't mean to overshadow you. Great.
No, you're just in your study in your library. We're
exactly. With my turtleneck. I have to,
Similar to Gershwin writing Porgy and Bess, which is also what you brought up, right? Is that the same one?
Oh, yeah. Dorothy Dandridge was in the film version of that with Sidney Poitier.
Then Gershwin did it?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I should watch that. I'm interested. Oh, but you said we can't find it.
You can find it.
We'll find it.
You can find it.
Shayla?
Perhaps. Who else do we? Oh, yeah,
Who
Shayla.
else wants to hop on? Hi, Shayla.
Hello. No, that was a really interesting. Well, it was a really interesting point that Michael who just brought up about Gershwin writing Porgy and Bess.
Yes.
I saw Porgy and Bess with Norm Lewis and Audra McDonald twice on Broadway when it was out in the, what was it, like 2012, 13, 14, somewhere around there. And it's the same kind of thing where like you hear a white writer from like a time when like there was a lot more segregation. So I think like black and white communities were way less familiar with each other, and trying to write in those colloquialisms, word of the day, sounded a lot more stilted. And it really does take skilled, or not skilled, but like it really does take some robust acting, I think, to take those words and make them seem realistic, even though, hi Monica, even though they do sound stilted on the page. Like I mean, that was something I think I paid a lot of attention to when I was watching the movie, along with the fact that thinking about archetypes and stereotypes, I feel like Black women are often cast in two roles. There's like Mammy, and then there's like the suffering, drug-riddled single mom, and then there's the whore. And these are all characters that I, as a Black woman, have been cast as, and like seem to be pigeonholed into time and again. I mean, I do think that this is one of the better musicals I've seen from like an era where musicals were really good. Like modern day musicals, Rob, I know how you feel about them. We share a lot of feelings in common. But it's still, I mean, Carmen is about a woman of, passion and what for that time would have been considered loose morals, but it's still kind of frustrating to know that like, okay, Dorothy Dandridge played Carmen in Carmen Jones, but like, where were her other roles where she could play anybody else? Like, just no, like it was a painful reminder that the opportunities were extremely limited, and to some degree still are. But I still enjoyed it.
Like with Gone with the Wind, the woman who played
Hattie McDaniel.
Yeah, she was nominated for, what was that?
She won the Academy Award,
but she couldn't go.
Actress, No, she could go. She couldn't sit at the table.
See, that's the same thing. Yeah. That's the same thing to me. Like, what's the point in having you go if you have to sit at the back? Mm-hmm. That's an insult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that I mean, is that around the same? I feel awful, but Gone with the Wind was what?
Gone with the Wind. Yeah, it was earlier.
So, okay. But still, then you take Carmen, who, and again, too, I will say, I read an article about movies promoting Black suffering. And you see a lot of Black films focusing on the hardships and focusing on hard times, or maybe violence, or maybe drug related. They're almost like stereotypical movies. And there is also the white privilege. And like when I watched Carmen, I was like, wow, there isn't really too much like suffering. There is, but it's like, okay, you made a bad choice. So for me, I was like looking at it as, okay, we're not really putting the race into it, but then at the same time, that's you whitewashed.
No, Hollywood, I would say Hollywood has a fixation on Black trauma as subject matter for films.
There was a whole period where people were profiting off, when we talked about Shaft, people were glorifying the
Blaxploitation.
Exploitation. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like
it would be Black exploitation. Because there was
Well,
only one
no,
guy, one white
because-
guy who was the wrestler.
Because somebody mentioned, maybe Dennis, I don't know, it's kind of whitewashed a little
Right.
bit, like in a way, like this wouldn't be blaxploitation technically, but it would be sort of like a white person's interpretation
Yeah,
of
which is almost
black life, which
just
is
as
not
bad.
accurate, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, like that's my issue, and I think a lot of people's issues, and I think we've all kind of like touched on that, is if movies tend to be about like the specific stereotypes, the horror, the mammy, the sufferer, like
yeah, actually, Shayla, did you ever read the Donald Bogle book? He talks about the five. It's the name of the book is Toms, Mammies, Mulattoes. It was like the five stereotypes.
Oh.
Toms, Mammies, or Coons, Toms, Mammies, Mulattoes, and Bucks. That's the name of the book.
I haven't
And he
read
goes
it.
throughout film history. Those are the five stereotypes. And it started, you know, in the early days of cinema when they didn't even cast black actors. It was like white people in blackface originally. And that's how they originated those stereotypes.
I haven't read it, but I will. And sadly, even just from the title of that book, I'm familiar with all of those stereotypical roles. I mean, as a viewer, it was really fun and refreshing to watch an all-black cast, especially singing classical music, because I feel like that's something that Black people have sort of been quote unquote allowed throughout American history to perform. Weirdly, like in my experience, like Black people in opera have been something that's been allowed to be portrayed. It's been allowed to mesh. Whereas Black people entering pop, like wide American pop culture, not maybe in the last 10 years or so, but previously, I feel like it's harder to see like that kind of integration. I don't remember what I was going to say, but yeah, I mean, it was fun to watch this movie, but like, yeah, movies like this, while you're like, oh wow, what a beautiful cast, like Dorothy Dandridge is gorgeous, like what a talented group of people. I feel like it comes with a lot of pain. It could be hard to watch.
This entire movie, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, and I think that was the whole thing. That was the whole the lyrics of the songs. Like they always caught me a little bit, and I wasn't sure about it. But then hearing that it was written by a white guy, then it actually put me through like a little more shock. And I even said something like, I thought it was very interesting how it didn't focus on. I mean, Carmen is a French opera.
Correct. I believe so. Shayla, you would know that.
Yeah, it's a French opera. So for me, because it was the story of a French opera. For me, I was like, okay, what a great way to tell a story. But at the same time, I did feel the same way. I was like, are we really using a Black cast to make a statement, or are we using it to be inclusive, or are we just using it because it'll sell some movie tickets? What I think Dennis had that. I mean, I don't want to speak for Dennis, but I think that there was, even though I enjoyed this, there was a little bit of, should I enjoy this? Or, what could they have done? And at least it wasn't all, like let's exploit trauma. But it's still a trauma filled. I mean, everybody's terrible in this movie. I mean, they're great actors, but everybody's a terrible person.
The characters are terrible.
The characters, there we go. That's a better way to say it. The characters are all terrible, but they're all well acted.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I don't think I don't know. I don't know. I think you could say like you could like certain qualities about it, like the acting, the way it's made, but like you could also point out things that you dislike about it. And I've always felt that way criticizing films. Like for some people, it's either black or white. Like for me, I'm like, well, there could be times it's like in between. You like certain things and you don't. And it's like, I think it's important to point out things like we have been on the show for this particular film, at least, that, are sort of inaccurate portrayals of African American life and the stereotypes. But we can also mention the things that we like about it. In my opinion, that's how I feel.
And I will say this. I don't want to be
But I think most people are like, you either gotta like it or you gotta hate it. There's like no in between.
That's true. And I
For
think
me,
that's
there's so
confusing,
many
though.
in between. Like for me, like it's okay, like to like certain things and not like
But
other
a lot of
things a
people
movie.
don't think that way. I
Like,
don't think.
I
A
don't
lot of
know.
people don't think. That's why they get confused and anxious.
I mean, I
'cause
think
would-
art in and of itself, if you're really gonna truly or not just appreciate it, but if you're gonna like engage with it, it's nuanced. Like, I feel like, and I don't want to get into a different discussion, but when we think about cancel culture and people who are being finally held accountable for awful things they've done, but they're also like incredibly talented and incredibly artistic, like it raises the question of like where does the art stop and where does the person who created the art end? Like what's the dividing line? And I think it's a similar question here. Like, okay, like where do the like the negative things about this art and the time period it was made in, and where did the positive things about it and like the historical aspects of it and like the achievements of the actors in it and anyone involved, like where is the boundary? I think that's blurred, and I feel like a lot of times that sort of nuance gets lost, and I feel like that's something that is important. Like just like you were saying, Rob, it's like important to, you know, to be able to step over the line and look at both.
Well, I thought it was so interesting too. I do like this show because like Rob does make I don't know anything about movies. Like I'm always like that one guy with the thing.
You thought Gene Hackman was Gene
Oh
Wilder.
yeah, that's a wonderful.
You thought Richard Roundtree was Richard Pryor.
And
Like,
then
you
I
know,
also thought that
There was
take care of
somebody else.
yourselves, take
Oh.
care of your
you came up with that, but that was from Jerry
Yeah, that's from
Springer.
Jerry. I always said that as a closing thing, and I said, "Wow, that sounds really good," and that's because it's been done. So I stopped. You know, and then Poseidon, that famous episode when I was like, "That was Gene Hackman."
And we all thought Melissa was a big Gene Hackman fan. It turns out she mistaked him for Gene Wilder.
I was like, "This isn't Willy Wonka." So great, but my point to that little ramble was, I don't want to. There's a certain level of ignorance, you know, because especially in this time period and everything that we're dealing with, just today's, but I wouldn't have watched these films without your recommendations. And I both of these films, you'll find out in the second one, I was very emotionally tied to. And it's something that it did. I mean, everybody who said anything, Shayla, Dennis, even everybody chiming in comment wise, don't be scared. You can comment. We won't be too mean. But a lot of these things are, wow, I didn't think about it that way. And I didn't, and that's the struggle is in today's society. You know, things are changing. What were things in 1950s? We weren't alive for that, obviously. Oh, wow. Oh, no. There has not been another Black woman winner of the Academy Awards Best Actress category since Halle Berry.
Yes, for lead actress. Yes, correct. Only supporting actresses.
So this stuff is still happening.
You know, so yeah.
We want to disconnect to the 1950s and the 1930s and say we're better people, but this stuff is still happening, just more subtle.
Yeah.
Which not really, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. So this was wonderful.
Yes.
Shayla and Dennis, do you have anything else?
I want Dorothy Dandridge's wardrobe from that film. Like every dress I was like, and need.
That could be on my arm. All the
I
costumes.
know. Oh my god, yeah.
I was
It's
like,
my
what is
pinky
that
finger.
waist?
17 inches, 16 inches, totally
Yeah, that could
unattainable.
fit on my ankle. All of her dresses could go around my ankle.
Me too.
Well, thank you so much, guys. We're gonna do this shit. And
Yeah.
Gabby, don't
We'll bring you back for the second review.
Oh yeah, that'll be
so
wonderful.
we'll see you in a little bit.
A little bit.
We're gonna try to run some more.
Gabby,
Valentine's
we
Day
will run these for you later and edit them cuter. I was like, Gabby, I promise I'm gonna do them
we'll give
so
them its
cute.
own little post on
And I
Facebook.
didn't. This one sort of got cute, but not really.
Make another drink.
You're gonna make another drink? Yeah, I'll show 2 of these. Don't you
Oh.
worry. Can you make me one too?
Yes.
Here, just put a lot of stuff in
Love.
it.
It does not work.
That's fine. It's not working. Just don't pee in it, please.
No.
That's fine. The world is falling apart, but we're fine. We still have our. I need that mouse. Wait, Rob. I need the mouse. I need that mouse that just fell on the floor. I can't do anything without it. And we'll just do you see it's on just on the it's a mouse that's upside down. Yeah. And then I'll just click this. And Gabby,
Oh, no, nobody said anything else. The waistline was back in the day. The waistline was a corset that you had to tie in and kill yourself. Okay, here's Gabby's thing. Gabby, and then we'll just... This is wonderful. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Here's this. Hi, Gabby.
Surely feel like a princess watching Gabby's #3 movie, that is Ever After, a Cinderella story. Drew Barrymore stars as Cinderella. Angelica Houston plays her evil stepmother, and it's a rendition of the classic Cinderella tale. Leonardo da Vinci also makes an appearance in this film, and that's set in Renaissance era France. This one definitely has a happy ever after.
Let me just get to the next one. This is great. And here we go. Oh, that's not right. No sound. Oh, that's oh. Well, no, there should be sound. Did we see Gabby's? Great. Am I echoing? Well, we'll just pray. Dear Anne Hathaway.
Gabby's #2 movie is the perfect movie to cuddle up and watch on a cold night. It is the movie Untamed Heart. Marissa Tomei stars as the female lead, and Christian Slater as the male lead. She's a family girl from Minnesota who's been unlucky in love, and he's a social outcast. They meet while working together, and he saves her from an attack one night, and they find out that they're made to be together. So they do fall in love, but this one's a tearjerker, so have those tissues ready.
We can't control the volume.
Should we just play it over?
We can't play it over.
What do I do with this?
Oh, there's so much mute screen audio. Hello? There it is. Oh, that's why. That's why we were echoing. Well, we're learning things on the job.
Which is how you
things.
normally learn things.
Yeah,
when
that's how we normally do our sound checks. Normally how we do our jobs. Normally how we live our life. So I'm sorry you couldn't hear that. But we'll update that and post that with the 6 episodes that need some help. Oh, better now. Yes. I appreciate the host's and guest's opinion on being able to celebrate the achievements of the Carmen movie in the context of the 50s and the art itself, while simultaneously challenging the film through a 2021 lens. So Gabby, or Gabriella, because we have a Gabby, so we don't want to get the two confused. But Gabriella was somebody I can't see over her comment, but she was actually somebody. Super cheesy. She was somebody who inspired me in high school. Yeah, I was living in a very, very white Utah world, and it was beautiful. But there was, she was somebody that I could always have these discussions that we're having now with, and she was one of the few. I don't want now everybody from Utah is going to be like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, I need to put that.
You need to put that into here.
Oh.
But no, Gabriella and Gabby, thank you for everything. And, you know, so we did 2 of Gabby's things. Nobody heard it, but that's fine because we'll re-edit that. We were having some.
We could play it again after the next review, right? We're going to review the next movie. And then maybe we could just play it with sounds or not.
I can't really think about life right now.
Should we just look at the next movie?
Let's just go to the second.
Okay, let me
you know
get
what's
my
upsetting is
big
it
paper.
was gonna be the day. We were like, it's gonna. Oh, Dennis is still here. I was like, whoopsies.
Okay, well,
Yeah, let's do the other movie.
yes.
That should happen. But this was gonna be the day, and that's. Oh, hold on. Ooh, I would never wish for a technical hiccup. I would never wish for a technical hiccup, but I have to admit that Rob's "oh no" echoing into the abyss early in the show. It's pure comedy.
Oh, well.
Gabriella, just
That
look
was
at some of all of our
planned.
episodes. All of our episodes
Yes.
start with 30 minutes of Rob going, "oh no," and then me going, "fuck." So just take
You probably
a
heard that
gander.
echoing too.
Yeah, she did. She heard that echoing. So this is wonderful. There's this movie. So you want to talk first?
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
it's all ready.
So next
We're
up is
looking
the
great.
1958 film, The Defiant Ones. The film starts off when the authorities discover that two prisoners, one a black man and one a white man, who are shackled together, are on the run after the truck that was transporting them overturned in an accident the night before.
Yeah. Just now.
Just now.
5 to 10, tack guard. Additional 5 for over 2. Hey, Max, how come they chained a white man to a black? The warden's got a sense of humor. What did he say just now? He said not to worry about catching them. They probably kill each other before they go 5 miles.
The two prisoners, played by Sidney Poitier and Tony Curtis, realize they must cooperate in order to survive, despite their mutual dislike for each other, as we'll see in this clip. Yes.
I didn't realize I was blocking you.
Bite it through with your teeth. But I didn't want to make you feel
No,
bad.
of course. No, just
Just
awkwardly.
The time's gonna come, Joe. The time's gonna come. But if you want it to be right here, right now, that's okay with me.
You kind of got the advantage of me, boy. You're awful tough to see if the lightning good.
But you can hear me, Joker, so listen good. Either we go north
This
together.
is not
or
us.
together
We
we're
did
gonna
not
go
film
them 10
this.
miles
We did not
right
make
back
this
on
movie.
State Street.
We did not act or participate in the filming
In
of
any
this
filming,
film.
it was all MGM
MGM.
that put this together.
You're right, boy. Man, you're right. The time is gonna come. It's sure gonna come.
All right. Now, north is up that way.
It is clear as well that there are the racial tensions between the two men, as well as seen in this clip coming up right now.
Oh, just some behind the
And you
scenes
through the
tech
front door
magic.
just long enough to collect your tip.
What's eating you? Just because I called you a nigger?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you are, ain't it? It's like calling a spade a spade. I'm a honky. I don't try to argue out of it. You can call me a bohunk. I don't mind.
You ever hear tell of a bohunk in a woodpile, Joker? You ever hear tell of catch a bohunk by the toe?
Depends on how you mean it.
How'd you mean it?
Like I said it, now don't cry at me because I didn't make up no names.
No, you breathe it in when you're born and you spit it out from then on.
That name sure bugs you, don't it? Well, that's the way it is. And you're stuck with it, because I didn't make any rules.
No, but you sure live by him.
Everybody lives by him. Everybody's stuck with what is. Even them swamp animals.
Even that weasel.
You calling me a weasel?
No, I'm calling you a white man.
However, the two men gradually begin to respect each other, as we see in this next clip where Poitier talks about the horrors of being a chain gang prisoner.
They had to pull me off in my
right
wood.
Right now.
You gotta learn to roll with them punches.
Yeah.
What are you getting so mad about?
I ain't getting mad, Joker. I've been mad all my natural life.
I'm just telling you the facts a lie.
I don't want to hear it. I've been listening to that stuff all my life. From my wife, be nice. They throw me in solitary confinement and she said, be nice. Man, short weight me when I turn in my crop. She said, be nice or you get in trouble. She teach my kid that same damn thing. Never could get that woman to understand how I was feeling inside. All of a sudden, there was nothing left to say.
Podia and Curtis are eventually captured and tied up by a group of men at a turpentine camp, but one of the men secretly releases them after it is revealed he was also a former chain gang prisoner, as we'll see in this next clip.
And
It's coming. Yeah, you got nowhere to be.
Yeah, you got nothing to be. It's only
Or
like
else you wouldn't be
almost 2
here,
hours.
because you
Yeah.
know how long
Dennis is fine.
it
You gotta
takes
work
us
in
to
the
get.
morning.
Oh,
Wait a minute. What are you doing? I didn't hear any wagon being hitched up.
well, there's no sound.
I'm letting you loose.
Oh, never mind.
Why? What do you mean you're letting us loose? I already told you. I'm letting you loose.
Don't question it.
Wait a minute.
How about letting us have that crowbar?
Don't go to pressing your luck too far, boy. Come on. Wait a minute. You get caught. Wasn't nobody let you loose. You broke out yourselves. Understand? Yeah, thanks.
Oh, and that's
I
it?
think that is it.
Wow! And we still got what a wonderful way to end a show. To know that it happened. It might not have been
Well,
a
it
good
didn't happen
show.
as we might have
Yeah,
planned.
but it didn't get bumped.
It
So
did-
that's a win.
that's right. Yes, 'cause
Yeah.
we were worried about that.
Very worried.
You know, sometimes they kick us off because they're like,
Yeah.
"You didn't make this
Yeah,
movie.
you didn't make this movie.
Who do you
You're
think you
trying to
are?
take
Get
credit
outta
for
here."
filmmaking. And I
Yeah.
said, I know I'm
and we
just
try to
as
credit
good.
everybody who had like some
Whatever.
involvement in this film. You
You'll
know,
never win.
We realized we put the MGM logo next there on the clip to
And we
show
said
that
our-
it was MGM that
It was
made this movie,
MGM.
not What to Watch. So yes,
But if you thought we did it, then we'll take the credit.
yes, we would
Go
love to.
go ahead.
You know, I don't know what
Oh,
I wrote.
that's
I'm
fine.
just gonna wing
Just
this.
wing it.
Yeah. So the interesting thing about this film was the fact that it had two lead roles, one African American actor and one a white actor.
Oh, nobody can hear you. Let me play that. There we go.
That being, you know, Curtis. In a time, 1958, as we know, segregation didn't end in the South until 1964. So, you know, and this is a movie that takes place in the South. And it's interesting because I read somewhere, I don't know.
Just anywhere.
They were worried that people weren't even really going to believe, like, suspend disbelief with this movie, that the fact that a black prisoner was chained to a white prisoner. That's why they make that joke in the first clip where there was like, oh, like the warden must have a sick sense of humor, because even back then, like, it was unusual to have even people of a different race like chained to one another to be working, you know, on the railroad or you know, whatever they had chain gang prisoners do. But yeah, and I think this is a good film to like sort of juxtapose to Carmen Jones, because this is one that came 4 years after that, but I think accurately depicts sort of the racial tensions, segregation, and all of that, where like Carmen Jones like pretends like it doesn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then again, like I said, having these two lead actors, you know, one who's black, one who's white, was very unusual as well. And you know, from what I understand, like certain people from the South, like, you know, kind of had like an issue with that. And I think this is an example of Hollywood trying to be a little more ahead of its time instead of behind its times, like Carmen Jones. Granted, you could argue again. I mentioned the Donald Bogle book about the 5 stereotypes of Black characters in American cinema, you could argue that the Sidney Poitier character eventually kind of ends up in like that character that Donald Bogle refers to as the Tom, the sort of non-threatening Black man that usually like one of the and interesting, Donald Bogle talks in the book how like the Tom is usually like, he uses the term asexual because even though like Sidney Poitier's character talks about how he has a wife, they only show the Tony Curtis character having a romantic relationship with another woman. As you see in the back, there's a scene where this woman who she's a single mother finds them, and she's like, oh, like I'm gonna run off with you, and they never show like any sort of romantic relationship with the Sidney Poitier character. And that was like something that was looked at as like a stereotype as well.
Well, and the whole time she doesn't want to give him food. She doesn't want
That's
to give him
true.
water.
That's true. And it turns out she's almost sort of like a villain in the movie. I don't want to give too much away.
Well, okay, somebody said something to me. And they said you can't, or maybe this was a quote in the movie, but you can't blame what you don't know, which I believe that was a line.
Okay.
And so in that case, the film is saying, oh, well, you can't blame her. She didn't know any better, which I think, I don't know. I'll save that for my review.
Well, I think they made it clear too, like that, because isn't one of the last things he does, like Tony Curtis calls her something bad, I forget, and then like the son's like, don't call my mother that, and he goes to like shoot him. So I don't know, I think like they make it clear that like that type of thought is unacceptable.
Well, I believe it's actually the Black man who says the line.
Oh, okay.
I think it is.
Okay.
I don't want to.
I'm just talking about the film itself.
Right,
makes it clear that
exactly.
That,
but coming from Utah and coming from these places, that's the line that really like stung to me. It's like, oh, well, she doesn't know any better. She doesn't know any better.
And I think that's an excuse because we saw that was like another thing that happened in the movie that we looked at last week, The Learning Tree, when I think we discussed that, the teacher. And that's an excuse a lot of people made. Oh, you can't blame this person. They didn't know any better. But that's not really an excuse, and I think both movies, The Learning Tree and this one, make it clear that that is not like an excuse at all. That's just a bullshit way of saying like, you're racist, like basically.
I'm actually pulling up my notes because I have some.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want to take away from your time.
You know what? And besides that, I just thought, just as a movie, I thought the performances were great. It's actually quite, in a way, I would say, action packed. I
would say it is action.
And I think like if you like action movies, this is a good movie to like look back and see, an earlier sort of action film. It also brings up topic like I like this scene in particular. Just the way like people who are imprisoned for certain, like none of these people here like killed anybody. They were arrested for some sort of, I don't know if minor crime.
Stealing.
Yeah, something like that. And to look like, the man has like the mark on his arm.
Stealing was, and the stealing
and is that
too.
like really, I think it also brings up the whole topic of, like even back in 1950s of like sort of like a prison reform message, I feel like.
Right.
Is that an acceptable punishment for the crime? Well,
he
not
even says,
really.
He even says, oh, well, I passed out once on a chain gang.
Yeah.
So my, I don't want to take away from what you have.
But it's interesting because like, I feel like Carmen Jones, like, at one point in time, Hollywood was very conservative. And I think you see that in sort of Carmen Jones.
Right.
And I think this is one of the films you see like Hollywood starting to become a little bit more less conservative, more sort of liberal, in lack of a better word, I guess.
True, and this was shortly after Carmen. This was
1958.
58. What I loved about it. Were you done? I don't.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
What I loved about it is there was a little bit of irony in it, where they made it in the same way that let's take a trip back to Rent-A-Cop in this, or no, what was the Shaft in the to the same movie, but in the same way Shaft was a little bit comical without intending to be a comedy. I felt like this movie, they have a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, we're gonna help you, we're gonna help you find the guys, and they're always playing really like ironic music. There's a lot of humor in it, of like a common sense humor, a little bit of joke, a little bit of lightheartedness.
Yeah, because the movie kind of goes back and forth between their story and then the
Right.
sheriff, the authorities looking for them. I think
There's
there
a
was
little-
those scenes. that
Right.
was-
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I also had something where so we had said okay, we have this white guy who gives his little spiel of, well, I never really had anything. There's kind of a running joke, like they called me Charlie Potatoes. Like, you've got to be, and this was a quote, you've got to be a big enough taker. Like, nobody just earns things to earn things. You've got to be out for the taking. You've got to be a big enough taker to be ahead. Which, when you think about everything today, with all these people with the billions and billions of dollars worth of income at their disposal, like, why are we giving this to like social media people? Why are we giving this to celebrities? So like, he's feeling a little bit slighted. I'm doing everything right. He says I could work hard, but even then I'm only going to get a shit car. So why am I working so hard? You've got to take. And then through the whole, I have to admit, this movie broke my heart. Like, I sobbed at the end. This wasn't, oh, that's sad. It broke my heart because he says something like, it's a repetitive quote of like, thank you for saving my life. You know, they have a scene in the river. They're getting swept up by a river. Thank you for saving my life. Well, I didn't save your life. You know, I saved my life. I pulled you out.
Remember, yeah.
And that keeps going. Well, thank you. Like, and this guy, I feel so bad. What's his name? The black actor.
Sidney Poitier.
Sidney Poitier. This keeps coming up. He says, I always have to say thank you. I always have to say thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So, well, what am I thanking you for? Am I thanking you for my life? Well, no, I pulled you out so that I didn't get swept under. And there is this tension. They make a joke, if you would call it a joke. Well, they're not going to get very far. If they do get far, they're just going to kill each other. I had this, and then everybody's in for the kill at the start. We have some officers who aren't even officers, but they need the manpower.
Yeah.
So they say, just deputize them. But everybody's in for the kill. And now they also have a scene in this where they come across some people and everybody's like, lynch them. And there's only, when we go back to the Capitol, there is the one person who gets things going, because there's a beautiful scene of, there is this one guy riling up a mob.
Yeah.
We got to hang him. And then this second guy he's a sheriff, right? The one that we saw in one of the last scenes.
Yeah, that was the
He's a sheriff.
Yeah.
And he ends up kind of calling his people back. Okay, well, if you want to hang him, here you go. And there was only one guy leading that mob. And when you're in a mob and you're angry and you're already feeling passionate about what you think is true, it may not be true, but when you're feeling that passion, it's easy to get swept up in it. And it's easy to say, lynch him. But that's a mob mentality. That's not a single, because even this sheriff, he says, okay, well, do it. And then he goes to the one guy who he's either in Leave It to Beaver or Andy Griffin. That's a famous guy.
Oh, the one with the radio?
The one who was leading the lynching mob.
Oh, I don't remember.
That is a guy that I recognize, where he is famous for like a Leave It to Beaver or like a Andy Griffin. He's one of those guys, which was even more brutal, because you take this person who's living in that time and say, well, just kill him. And everybody is kind of terrible. They have that, especially too, if it was two white people on a chain, You know, there never would have been that lynching scene. And then
And
there
I
was a
think
line,
there was-
you
oh,
can't
you're
lynch
probably
me,
gonna
I'm
mention-
white.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah,
that,
you can't lynch me, I'm white. And they do back down.
Mhm.
And then when we have follow-up officers who are saying like, okay, so where are they? Where are they? Nobody could tell them because they all were going to either kill them, lead them the wrong way, send them to their own demise. And it's there are so many, without giving the ending away, you have to see this. This is a black and white film. I know it's hard for especially millennials and
Black
younger
and
people
white.
to connect. Well,
Please.
Isaac says he doesn't like
Zendaya
older
was
movies.
just in, and John David Washington were just in Malcolm Marie, which is still.
But I will say there is a stereotype where you see a black and white movie and you're like,
I don't get
some
that.
people.
I
I don't
know.
get that
I
either,
don't get
but I am a part of that. And this was one of the most thrilling, like on the edge of my seat movies I've ever seen. And
It's
at
good.
the end, I sobbed. I completely sobbed because it's such a touch of humanity, and it's such a touch of sacrifice, and it's such a touch of we're no longer separate people, separate colors. We are fighting for the same. Even their stories of how they got arrested were the same. Even their lives similarly are the same, and they still hate each other. But then at the end, they realize they're the same. Color doesn't. The only thing separating the two of them are color.
Mm.
And it just broke my heart. The ultimate sacrifices were made because the bond was made. And somebody told me to. The last thing I want to say, and I'll turn it over. The mud scene, which somebody had said, because I watched it yesterday and then I watched part of it this morning, but there are 2 times where they're about to go rob a little town. And he says, oh, well, you can't rob this town. Your face is shining through, like your white face is shining in the moonlight. So he puts on mud. And I don't want to slaughter this tie-in, but at the very end of the scene, he realizes this connection. The white guy realizes connection to his partner with everything they had been through, and he falls in the mud.
Mm-hmm.
And I never tied that.
And I think there was a point too where they almost mistaked him for a black man
Because
too,
of the mud on the
because of the mud
face.
on the face too. And
Yeah.
then he was just like, "No, that's when he said you can't lynch me."
That was
Like,
a movie of,
yeah.
you can't lynch me, I'm white. And that's what, so you can lynch somebody just based on color alone. That's what this movie was. It was color alone. The woman who has a love interest, I'm not going to give him food. Initially she doesn't even set food down on the table for his
Mhm.
friend while they're chained together. She sets food down for the white guy. And color alone, and we're still not away from this. And it just broke my heart of 2 men, especially when you think of white fragility and a white man's ego. And this guy who's saying, oh, well, you're black, you're black, you're black. This was never a secret. To be able to put that down, and for somebody so filled with hatred to say, okay, this is, I don't know, I'm a little drunk. I'm really drunk, but I bawled. It was so beautiful, and it's so sad. This is drunk PMS talk now, but it is so sad that
No,
this
it
is our life right now. This is our life where you have 2 people with the same background, the same story, the same everything, and one is treated in such a way. And you look at the Capitol, you look at, even just everything happening today with the Black Lives Matter protests. I don't want to make this preachy. I'm going to turn this over, but all it is a word. People are afraid to say the word black. People are afraid to recognize color. And that's what this movie was. And it was so simple. And it kind of reminded me of when you said Poseidon, when they actually built sets. They didn't have CGI. They didn't have special effects.
And they had
This
to do
was-
like most of their own stunts.
Oh my
these
God.
actors,
And you
like,
could
yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn this away because I'm just going to keep crying about it because I'm
So-
not saying like cry at the end. I'm talking heavy sobs.
let's go to Shayla.
Okay.
Yes.
Shayla, I'm not being rude, but if I don't pee, you're going to talk to Rob.
She's gonna talk to everyone.
Yeah,
me
talk
and
to
the 4
everybody.
people watching.
Hey, thank God we have people watching.
Indeed,
But
indeed.
Fuck people, man. Fuck people.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
talk to Shayla.
it's kind of a life motto, but no,
Shayla, the defiant ones. Yes.
I really enjoyed this movie in the sense that like it was, I thought, really beautifully acted, really well directed. I tend to stay away from this kind of film. Like, I honestly tend to stay away from the incarceration tale of the Black man, the Black woman, because, like, to me, it's personal. I'm a Black person. Like, I come from a multicultural background, but my experience is that of a Black person. Like, it was a really emotional experience. I thought it was really well done. I thought that's something I think you said, Rob, or yeah, I think it was you talking about like the asexual male was interesting because I feel like that was something that I learned when I was in college, was something about like the asexual Black male compared to the hypersexualized Black male, you know, hung like a horse, the stereotype of like Black men having like, oh, you know, super huge penises and like being super fertile. Like, I feel like that came up. It was a painful story to watch. I thought it was well done, but it's a good movie, but it brings up a lot. And for the time period that it was built in, and the fact that I feel like Sidney Poitier's character kept like talking about like, you know, I had to go to solitary and be nice, and I had to go to jail and be nice, and, you know, people were abusing me and I had to be nice. Like, it spoke to the culture of at least America and the way that like the Black man specifically has to operate in order to survive. And even if you're kind, even if you're nice, like, it doesn't always pay off, as we've seen time and time again. And I don't know, it was a difficult watch. It was an important watch, but it was hard to sit through. There's a reason why I avoid this kind of film for the most part. Like, I don't like to rewatch movies of this caliber. Same thing. It made me think of The Green Mile with Michael Clark Duncan.
Tom
Hanks. These kinds of films, like, it's a narrative that our community is really familiar with. It can be really exhausting to watch, and I kind of felt that same feeling watching this. Like, I'm tired. Like, I get it, and I appreciate, I guess, for the time period, the way that Sidney Poitier's character was portrayed, but I'm also like, this is draining for me. This was not like, this was a watch I think was important because of Sidney Poitier's place in history and in culture, and in art, but it was overwhelming at the same time. I feel like I had a really hard time trying to find constructive things to say, or constructive criticism, or just like positive things to say, because it has so many deep emotional connotations for me. That was hard. But it's an important film to watch. Like, I would not say, I mean, like, you know, we say see it or skip it. I say see it.
You said you couldn't think of, and I like what you say, you couldn't think of something like good to say, but it's important to watch. And I think, again, I think that's like that's the type of movie it is. You know, I mean, yeah, it's hard to watch. Yeah. And that's why, you know, you don't want to like be like, oh, it was a fun movie.
Well, and it's almost like a learning tool in the same way where you say Black exploitation films.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where, for me, as a white person, you're like, I'll never, and this is the hard part. I never like to say I know what you're going through for someone that I don't know who's going through something. But with something like this in a Black culture, there's a danger, because I have said, well, I don't want to say I know exactly what you're going through, because I don't, but that can also come across as dismissive. So
but I think, Melissa,
learning tool of like, look, we are, you know, maybe it was more of a white direction, like
but the whole point of
one thing I think you can say though, like, is not, and I think this is like a human experience and not just like with this film or like with Black and White, like culturally, no matter where you come from, you could come from Japan and be talking to someone from Alaska, or like, you know, like, I think what you are saying is that you empathize, and not to say that like I know exactly what you've been through. Like, I've never, you know, like, I've never lost a child, but like, I can say to someone who has, I empathize. I have not been in your shoes, but like,
language is so important.
And I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that's why movies like this are important, because it makes you feel empathy, and I think that's important. That's an important thing to feel, in
It
my
is.
opinion.
It is.
Yeah, you know, I think
I mean, I was empathizing the fuck out of it. I was sobbing.
and in a
halfway.
way, like too, I almost feel like that's the reason why we watch movies,
Mhm.
to feel
It is.
empathy.
It's true.
For me,
That's
at
the
least.
whole.
That's
That's
a
what
big
they
reason why I
say. Yeah, that's what they say actors do. We reflect humanity as a mirror back to the audience or to each other. And I think this was a film that definitely did that. It's just like a really painful film. And I have to say, for the time period, it wasn't as upsetting as I thought it would be, in the sense that, like, I thought it would be more insulting. It wasn't. I was actually kind of impressed.
Everybody's out for the kill. I mean, you have your sheriffs who are like, I'm going to release my dogs. Oh, I'm going to take my guns. I'm going to take this. And you have the one like good guy who's being completely like under the mirror for. Is that even a thing? Under the mirror, under the microscope?
Well, it is now. So
under the mirror. But he says, I don't need those dogs. Like, these are just guys. They're two guys. They're chained together. Like, what are they going to do?
yeah,
And they keep trying everybody. They're bringing their guns. They're bringing their dogs. They're bringing the even in different settings. All of the townspeople are saying, let's hang them. Let's hang them. Like, everybody's out for the kill, and that's what I saw in these. Under the mirror. But what I had seen is, like, when you look at the like, we can only bring it to the Capitol. We really only can, because these are mob mentalities. They would have killed people if they got it. Only took one, and it only took one person to break the window, and then hundreds come through, thousands come through. I don't know. Let's. I feel like we should get to Dennis,
Yes,
because we're
let's
at
get to
our
Dennis.
2-hour mark
Oh,
early today. Hi, Dennis.
You stole all my thoughts. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
I mean, I think echoing and co-signing on all you said about empathy, because I do think that was sort of the biggest takeaway for me from the film, in terms of understanding the shared experience. And I think at some level, I don't think the film achieves it, in the sense that, I mean, granted, I had all the same emotions. Like, I was crying and all of those things, but I don't think that I don't buy the end, or not to give it away, but I don't buy the end in that last sort of like running sequence. And
my heart. I got it though.
No,
How
I
did-
agree with Dennis. I completely agree.
yeah, I don't buy it. It just seemed too like easy, and nothing brought it for me. Nothing in the narrative brought it to that final point.
No,
where that
did.
would have happened.
He even mentions that. He says something like, "Why didn't you leave me? Why didn't you leave me?" And he says, "You're on my chain."
Okay, but that really ties into this, like,
But that was when the chain was off. It was emotional chain.
yeah, that's a really convenient, like,
Yes.
symbolic tool. Am I wrong? Like, that's a really
No.
convenient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That I was like, when I was watching it, everybody I didn't trust. Everybody who's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna help you." I was like, "Don't fucking do it!" And like everybody, like small little like white boy, don't trust him. Like, I was so mistrustful of everybody. That just.
I think part of it too is that I don't buy Tony Curtis in this sort of role either. Like, he was such like a dapper, like refined guy, and to like be in this role where he's playing like gritty or grittier, and like, you know, in this way was difficult to process in some ways. And then the other piece too, coming at it as a gay man, it was very, very, very homoerotic the whole time. And when you mentioned the mud scene, I was like, oh, the mud scene, like they were literally mud wrestling.
Sort of thought that, but I didn't, because that's a brother connection.
I don't know if it was brother.
What did I say? Budget connection?
brother.
Oh, thank God. I thought I said budget connection.
Might have been that too.
There was a bond. There was the chains went on and the bond was formed. Mother.
And and I think the filmmaker wants you to have
Fairy tales!
that feeling, but I think again, with a 2021 context, with a historical context, that just doesn't add up in the way of sort of
But
the
they didn't see past. I'm like convincing you that why it worked.
And I mean, again, not to take away, you can have that feeling, you can have those emotions, and that's not devoid from the critique. But I just can't help myself when I see.
No, I mean, and that's the thing. I feel like, am I looking through the world through like any movie I watch? I'm like, oh, I'm stressed. Something bad is gonna happen. Like, I want everyone to have a good time because I'm not, so somebody should. And nobody's ever getting a good time except for Army Hammer, who's getting a good time.
Who's now the president of PETA. He's now the president of PETA.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's vegan.
Yeah, he's
vegan.
Yeah.
And he's also going to lead the next women's march in
Shayla has the
DC.
inside scoop.
I have the inside scoop. He actually called me.
More chai to be spilled with, Shayla.
Yeah, he kept complimenting my thighs, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And then he was
And he
like,
said those look very tasty.
"Yeah," and I was like, "Well, let's get back on topic." But you know, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. It's fine. It's
At least
fine.
he didn't ask for a rib.
And there you go. You know,
We were looking on Cameo to promote him on our show.
Oh yeah,
He's not there.
But we have some other people we're gonna.
Apparently, you could pay anybody to say.
We're gonna have
anything.
Mandy Moore. On the
Yeah,
show.
Mandy Moore can be on. We just got to throw her a couple hundred, and she can say, "I love what to watch," and that's how we'll get famous.
That's how we'll get more people.
Well,
I
now
think.
that we're at 2 hours and 10.
Well, I also really quick just want to point out, because the whole point of looking at this movie was to also the contributions made by Sidney Poitier within the film industry with this movie. He became the first actor, male actor, at least, to be nominated by the Motion Pictures of Arts and Science for a leading performance. I also want to look at I just want to recommend a few other films that he is in as well. Janet, I think, has the pictures for that. If not, I'll just read them off. There's the 1961 film A Raisin in the Sun, based off of the Lorraine Hansberry play. 1961. Well, that's okay. I didn't get to that one yet, but then 1961 there was Paris Blues, where he plays a jazz musician in Paris. That also starred Diane Carroll, Paul Newman, and Joanne Woodward. Then that one, Lilies of the Field, 1963. Based off of the popular William E. Barrett novel, where he plays a traveling handyman who helps a group of nuns build a chapel in the desert. He became the first African-American actor to win a Academy Award for a lead performance. Just a few other films. There was a 1965 film, A Patch of Blue, the 1966 that's Paris Blues. Okay, I mentioned that one already. Okay, but I'm just going to keep going. The Best Picture winner in The Heat of the Night, where he plays a black detective in a racially hostile southern town in charge of a murder, something, you know.
Yeah, just a murderer.
Yeah, he's he's on a murder case. That's what I was looking for.
He's under the mirror.
And then the 1967 film, okay, that was the first one I mentioned. Where they're just in order, but these are just the posters, guys. I Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, where he plays a couple, interracial couple, young interracial couple who are engaged, and they have to break it to their parents that they're marrying.
Guess Who's Coming to
someone
Dinner?
of different race. And then there was also the 1970 film They Called Me Mr. Tibbs, which was sort of a sequel to In the Heat of the Night, except he's now solving a murder case in San Francisco.
I liked him. He was great.
He's a great actor, and I just want to mention those films because those are all worth watching as well.
Wonderful. I will post that.
He retired in 2001. He's actually still alive. He's in his 90s.
Is he still hot?
Probably. We
Let's
should look for a recent picture.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay. Well, great. I think I'm only nervous now at this 2 hour and 10 mark, but God bless.
Ashton Kutcher. And
Oh,
Brittany-
yeah, that's what it was. This looks
Oh,
stupid.
and that's the
No.
poster for In the Heat of the Night
Oh,
right
that
there.
looks
That's a great
good.
movie. Rod Steiger was in it, as well as Lee Grant.
I don't want to
directed
see
by
the
Norman
remake.
Jewison.
I don't want to see
Well,
the
there,
remake.
there wasn't a
of Guess Who's
remake of
Coming.
this movie.
No,
They're just
Guess Who's
talking
Coming
about-
to Dinner.
Yes.
That
They
looks
actually turned
dumb.
this movie into a series that starred
Ooh.
Carol O'Connor.
Where?
I mean, it's not on anymore. It was
Oh,
like in the
well, I
80s.
was gonna look at it.
But anyway, did we want to show a few more Valentine's Day?
Fuck yes, we do. We only got one more, so let's say goodbye to everybody. So let's
Okay,
pull up-
let's say our farewells.
Let's pull up. Give Shayla the first.
I love you guys.
Bye.
Happy
All right.
Valentine's Day. Happy Black History Month. Happy
Fuck
to be here.
off, Shayla. I'm just kidding. Oh. Well, we only say
she must
to
have took
tell
that
her off.
literally.
Yeah,
Okay.
she peaced out. Get the fuck
It's
up. I'm
always a
just kidding.
pleasure.
Hi, Dennis.
Thank you so much for having me.
Night being solo. Were you uncomfortable? You did a
Oh,
very
I was very uncomfortable, although Michael did return about 30 minutes ago.
Oh, where is he?
He's in the other room listening to the show.
Well, pop him on for a hot second. Michael? Michael, say goodbye.
He's a little injured.
Oh, what's he injured from?
He hurt his neck, but
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
Your neck looks like it hurts.
Hi.
Us. Hi, Michael. Did you watch the two films with Dennis or no?
I did. I watched both of them.
You liked them?
I loved them. There were two movies that I hadn't seen that I've always heard of. Sorry, I'm standing really awkwardly because I kind of hurt my neck a couple days ago. But no,
I had a bag back. I can give you drugs.
but thanks for picking them, Rob, because they were really great. It was great to finally watch them. I'd always wanted to see both of them, so I really enjoyed both of them immensely.
Yeah, exactly. Ibuprofen.
Maybe they'll solve the problem.
I'm on Motrin.
Anxiety
Which is,
meds.
ibuprofen, right?
It is ibuprofen.
Yeah, I'm on
Yeah,
Motrin.
took some ibuprofen. We love
I have a
you.
lidocaine patch on my back.
Aw. Well, I've
She's
got
fine.
shit here, so just text me if you need me. Don't you worry. I got you.
Okay. Thank you.
Kisses. Love you. I'm glad I got
Mwah.
your face.
Yeah.
We're gonna end this 2 hour and 15-minute episode. Oh, that's cute. Oh, she's still watching. Gabriella, this may not have been the episode for you to see, but next one.
Or maybe it was.
Well,
Who knows?
yeah, after the first 40 minutes of chaos, maybe it was, but we love
Yeah,
you.
but-
Happy Valentine's
Yes,
Day.
happy
which
Valentine's
ties us
Day.
into
Oh yes,
last little-
recommendations of the romantic
Yeah, let me just
films.
set that up. Click. This is nostalgic as fuck, Rob. Oh, I think I set it up. Wonderful.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you
So,
know?
it's not going to be good, but Gabby, God
it's gonna be
bless you for the time you took, and I'm going to post this.
We're
later.
gonna make it a separate.
We're gonna make it
It's gonna.
special, but this is not special. But
It's
fine.
It's special.
Yeah,
No, it's special.
and we'll just unmute that, and we'll just play.
And last but certainly not least is Gabby's number one pick, the adorable Curly Sue. Jim Belushi plays the male lead, which is Bill, and Allison Porter plays an adorable Curly Sue. The two of them are drifters that go from town to town running scams to make ends meet. Now, Bill is played by James Belushi, eventually meets the female character Gray when they do their most recent scam on her. Ultimately, the two of them end up falling in love. He teaches her how to have fun. She's a lawyer who's very serious and does not enjoy her life, but she does learn how to have fun when she meets Bill and Curly Sue. And she teaches them how to stay put and live a stable life. It ends up as a happy ending, and they're one big happy family. This is definitely one that'll warm your heart on a colder night. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to give you my top 5. And I want to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody. There's all types of love out there. There's romantic love. There's friend love. There's family love. Make sure to show everybody that you love in your life how much you love them this Valentine's Day, and stay kind to one another. Thank you.
It was a hoot. And bye. Echo bye.